Welcome back to the Hollywood Actor's Guide to Surviving the Film and TV Industry. I am Jennifer Lynn Warren, living out here in Hollywood, California, trying to help you guys out as I help myself out. You know, it's the circle of life. Thank you very much to all of my subscribers and listeners out there. And if you like the podcast, please give it a shout out on your social media. Let your other actor friends know that I'm here. And please send your questions into hollywoodactorsguide@gmail.com. And I would be happy to help you out. Try not to send it to my Instagram, as I don't really like to be a slave to my phone, but I do check my email as much as possible. So today we're going to start off with a little pep talk, a quote with Mother Teresa, and she said, "Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin." And how true is that, especially for artists? A lot of artists out there are waiting for somebody to give them permission to become an artist. If you are an actor, there is no reason that you can't start performing something today. I don't care if you're performing for your best friend or your mom. If you're an actor, you're going to find a way to act. My cat has certainly been on the other end of every single audition that I have. Just having an animal looking at me while I'm running my lines for some reason helps me out, and I do something every day. My morning routine, it's really good to have a routine every day, right? So I get up, I make my coffee. I use bulletproof coffee. If you guys haven't heard of that, I find it's really stimulating for the mind. It helps me get a lot of energy, and it helps me work out for a couple hours without getting hungry, which is amazing. So if you're looking for something like that, Google bulletproof coffee to see what I'm talking about. And then after I'm done, I take my shower, I meditate for 10 minutes, and then I look up a piece. I tend to gravitate a lot towards classical stuff like Shakespeare and Chekhov. That's because I'm a theater nerd at heart, and I like to take passages and just explore, even if it's just 2 to 3 lines, and just deliver them to my cat, because that's, who's my audience member, and he doesn't seem to be very judgmental for a cat. He's pretty supportive for a feline. So, don't wait. Everyone seems to think that tomorrow they're going to have a career. Tomorrow they're going to get that audition. Tomorrow. And tomorrow never really happens, because tomorrow there's going to be another tomorrow, and it makes you a really great procrastinator. So if you're serious, guys, do something today. Turn off this podcast, make a decision, start something right now. Let's touch on layering character choices a little bit. So when you're looking at an audition or performance that you're going to have, a really cool thing that you can ask yourself, and you can add this to the character checklist. And if you listened to my podcast a couple episodes ago, you should have a really good character checklist ready to go for your next performance. And this is going deeper for those of you who want to become, even more in-depth actors, shall we say, is more than, just having those strong vocal choices and physicalities and all of that other stuff. I think you guys may have heard this. This is pretty common in, the acting classes, is like your character should have a secret. And I think that's cool. That is something that I do. I think some characters really thrive if you give them a secret, but something that I found, and it could just be my branding and the types of characters I play, because I tend to get auditions for a lot of victims, though lately that's been changing. I've had a lot of really empowering characters lately. It's very exciting for me because I find myself a little bit more comfortable there. But I tend to come across as innocent to people, so I get those innocent, victim type characters. And when you have a character that is so obviously weak, you want to look at what you can find that empowers them. Because if it's a really good script, or if it's a bad script that you're going to help make better in your audition, is you want to find something that character is holding on to that gives them strength in life, no matter what has just happened to them. And the same goes true for if you have a really empowered character. What is their kryptonite? What is that thing that makes them weak, go weak? And it's going to be a little different, I think, if you're doing comedy and drama, because your comedy choices can be a little silly, but really work if they're grounded in reality. Something just popped into my mind is this like super villain who's like really, really evil, but like when it comes to like puppies, he just melts and becomes like everybody else and can't help but pet that puppy. I was up at Carmel by the Sea this week. I needed a little vacation and I just wanted to pet all the puppies, and no one seemed to want me to didn't want to let me pet their dogs. And I was having like crazy puppy fever syndrome that I just wanted to pet all the dogs. So, and even a few moments where I wasn't in the greatest mood, these dogs can sometimes just like snap you out of a mood. And these are types of choices that you can make for your characters as well. Finally, today, I want to talk about something that you'll hear casting directors say and agents and directors, and they'll say that they're looking for an actor that just makes a choice about the character. And actors believe that they're making choices, and a lot of times it's not coming through. And I think that sometimes you don't have a, quote, killer focus, end quote, on the choice you're making for your character. So for instance, if your character is super OCD, you should it's how to put this. It's so hard if we're not sitting here face to face working on a script together. But what you want to do is you need to take it, all auditions are at least an 8 to a 10 on a scale, right? You're not getting an audition that's a 1 or a 2. They're all very important. And the choices you make and the decisions you make about those characters are very important. So if you're prepping a scene and your character is OCD and that's their foundation for the character, instead of taking it to a 10, you need to be able to take it to like a 20 or 30 or something crazy when you are rehearsing this scene on your own. And you need to get it into your muscle memory, your brain memory, your emotional memory, all the memory stuff that you have, so that when you go in and you audition, you don't need to think about the OCD that this character has. You won't, and you want to be off book and all that other good stuff, all that other juicy, yummy stuff. But what I mean by that killer focus is that every single one of us, you included, and so that means if anything's true about you, it's going to be true about your character, right? Anything that's true about a human is going to be true about a human character you're playing. We all have this thing that drives us. And I think that's what they're talking about they just want an actor to come in and make a choice. And you want to have this what I call a killer focus. John Swanbeck, who is a director, he's the one that used that term, and I've kind of taken that with me, this killer focus, this killer choice that you need to have. And it's not about focusing necessarily on the reader or the other character, unless that's what your character is doing. But it's that thing that drives you more than anything. And so many of you actors that I see in, if I'm at a networking event and you're just focused on finding somebody that can help you with your career, which we talked about, that's not the right thing to do, but I see you. Everything that you say, every drink that you order, every move around that you make around that room is because you have this focus on like wanting to make that connection that's going to make your dreams come true. And please go back and listen to my networking episode if you think that's the case, because it's not, but I'm digressing. What I mean is there's something that you need to have driving that character, so that when you're in that audition and you're in the moment and you're in the shoes of that character, it gives you something to really hold on to. And so you don't have to worry about like every moment being perfect, because you have such a strong backbone, such a strong choice that comes from this focus of this one thing that just is the thing with this character, right? Like let's think of some examples. We'll use some superhero examples. I know not everyone's a big superhero fan, but everyone knows them, right? The the killer focus of Batman is his revenge for the death of his parents. He just can't get over it, can he? He can't get over it so much he built a whole damn cave and like a bat suit and everything to help him seek out his revenge. That's what drives him, this revenge justice, which is why he becomes such a dark character if you read the comic books later on, which I wish they would just get to and stop doing the origin story. But I digress. Look at Superman, like his driving force is just to like know where he comes from and like this longing for this home that he's never had, that just kind of, that deep drive that he has. And you can disagree with me about what the killer focus is for these characters, but if I was playing these characters, this is where I would go from, right? You have the character of Harley Quinn, who falls in love with the Joker and just has this like mental fraction that happens in her brain about what's real and what's not and what's right and what's wrong. But she is driven by her love of Jay, right? She calls him Jay, and like just making this man happy. And so everything she says and does is like hooked into that thing. And so if you're auditioning for that character, that's like everything you say, and it goes back to what your subtext is, what the through line of the character is, what the character arc is. But what I think it is in that room, that even when you've done all that work and the casting director still doesn't think that you've made a choice, it's because you've let the character's focus go and you're just focusing on remembering your lines, or doing that move you thought was cool, or whatever it is, or just getting through it without dying, right? So find out what that killer focus will be for your character and audition the heck out of it that way and see what happens. Report back to me. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that is all today, guys. I hope you're staying cool out there this summer. Rehearse, because episodic season is coming. I want you guys to be ready. Agents are taking meetings right now. Don't wait, because once we get into like October, November, they're going to go into vacation mode, and then they're going to go on vacation, and then they're going to come back in January, and they're going to be in pilot mode, and they're going to be in Sundance mode. And so it's going to be a long time before they are going to be ready to take meetings. So if you need an agent or manager, you guys need to get on that now. For now, thank you so much for listening. You can follow me at Hollywood Actors Guide on Facebook and on the Instagram. Break a leg out there, guys, and remember, you are not alone.